first on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Well, good morning to you. We hope you had a lovely weekend. I'm Ashley Mitchell. You are watching Fox 10 Midday.
I'm meteorologist Nicholas Herbosa. We're starting out with the forecast here at 11 o'clock this morning. It is a nice kind of mild morning, a little humid.
It is a little sticky. I noticed when I walked out the door this morning, for sure.
Yeah, this is a sign that moisture has returned to the area, so we're going to start dealing with fog, and we're eventually going to start dealing with rain chances, which is something that we need so bad. So let's break this down for you. Hey, look at the current observation at MSY, New Orleans. A thunderstorm in the distance. Temperature 69 degrees. They actually do have a few rain showers going on over there. I think over the next week or so, the highest rainfall totals will be just off to our west. I think the setup's a little better, but we could see some pop-up showers as we go through the week, and it's something that we're tracking. It's our main kind of deal here. We're all excited for the chance, at least, of a little bit of rain. 71 degrees in Evergreen, 73 Mobile, 71 in Pensacola. Next 10 hours in Mobile, really not expecting a rain shower here today. A rain chance is only 20%, but hey, keep your fingers crossed. Temperatures here generally in the upper 70s this afternoon. You notice an east or southeast wind. In Pensacola, southeast wind continues with those temperatures in the 70s, almost a little breezy at times, but mostly cloudy skies through the day. Here's your high resolution futurecast at noon. Maybe 1 or 2 showers. That's 3 p.m. 1 or 2 showers north of Interstate 10. If you're at the beach today, I don't think you're going to worry about showers. I think you're going to worry about rough rip current risk that's happening today at the beach. This is 4 p.m. Mostly cloudy skies continue. Again, another pop-up shower possible into the evening. Rain chances go to 0 overnight tonight. Overnight tonight, we deal with fog development in spots. It's not going to be everywhere, but you'll notice it. Just keep that in mind for tomorrow morning. So rain chances the next 10 hours in Mobile, only around 20%. I think the higher rain chances are just north of, say, Metro Mobile. We keep rain chances around this isolated to spotty scattered category as we go through the entire work week. It's not until this weekend where we see a higher chance of rain. Here are your weather headlines. Rough surf, a big deal for spring breakers. Spotty rain showers possible through the week, but the coverage is not super high. Also staying generally warm, right around 80 degrees through the entire week. We'll break this down, including a look at the beach forecast and much more coming up.
All right, thank you, Nick. And first in our headlines today, the Mobile Police Department is looking for this man on your screen. They say he is the suspect in 2 robberies that occurred Saturday morning, both on Schillinger Road. Now, the first one happened around 10:20 at Aldi on Schillinger Road South. Police say he tried to take merchandise from the store until a store employee confronted him. Officials say he then bit the employee and ran away. About an hour and a half later, just before noon, police say he robbed the corner marker on Schillinger Road North. Mobile Police says this time when he was robbing the store, he pulled out a knife on an employee who tried to stop him. And he did eventually leave the business with some stolen items. So again, take a good look at your screen. If you know who this person is, you are asked to call Mobile Police right away. And meanwhile, the first defendant charged in the death of a 9-year-old girl during a drive-by shooting in Mobile in 2023 is set to go on trial this week. Darius Lucky is charged with capital murder. 9-year-old Kaylee Knight was asleep on the couch when bullets meant for her older brother tore through the house and killed her. A police detective testified at a hearing shortly after Lucky's arrest that the shooting was revenge for a gun that Kaylee's older brother had stolen just the week before from Lucky's co-defendant, Tyrone Williams. The Mobile County District Attorney's Office is not seeking the death penalty. District Attorney Keith Blackwood says that decision has to do with the legal difficulties of seeking death in a case where the victim was not the intended target. Jury selection does begin tomorrow. In the meantime, a Cantonment man is now charged with first-degree felony murder and the death of his 3-year-old nephew in Escambia County, Florida. The state attorney says a grand jury indicted Samuel Antonio Maldonado Erazo. The charge stems from the child's death on March 4th. Authorities tell us the child's injuries included at least 17 strikes to the head, extensive bruising, intentional burns, a broken collarbone, and several broken ribs. Maldonado Erazo is being held in the Escambia County Jail this morning with no bond. According to jail records, he's due back in court on Thursday. And a Pensacola mother has been indicted for the death of her 5-year-old son. The state attorney says a grand jury charged Jalinda Smith with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. Investigators say on February 6th, Jakaden's body was found in a trash bag along the waterline of the bay off Lillian Highway. An autopsy revealed the child weighed only 20 pounds and appeared severely malnourished and dehydrated. Smith is being held in the Escambia County Jail with no bond. Her next court date is set for May 19th. Well, President Trump on Monday threatened widespread destruction of Iran's energy resources and other infrastructure if a deal to end the war is not reached soon. Fox News correspondent Trey Yangst has the latest now from Tel Aviv.
Iran fired multiple waves of missiles at Israel on Monday as Operation Epic Fury enters its 5th week with no end in sight. You can see here one of those missiles causing a fire at an oil refinery in Haifa. It followed weekend airstrikes by the U.S. and Israel on Iran's steel and nuclear facilities. And on Monday, President Trump issued a new threat, writing that if Iran doesn't make a deal soon, quote, "we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island."
They would have to surrender everything that we would take away from them in those negotiations. I think they're unlikely to do that. Why? Because we have a 47-year history with them.
Those talks, sponsored by Pakistan, are said to be ongoing. President Trump said over the weekend progress is being made, but he's also sending more troops to the region, giving him a sizable ground force option to take Karg Island, Iran's main oil terminal.
We will probably, I think we'll make a deal with them, pretty sure. Whether it's possible, we won't.
But a growing number of experts say a long-term U.S. ground commitment could backfire and turn into a quagmire like the Iraq War.
Their soldiers, hundreds of thousands to include the Basij, would trade their uniforms for plain clothes, move into urban centers, hide amongst the populace, and create this irregular asymmetric warfare, which leads to a lot of casualties.
President Trump said over the weekend the Pentagon is preparing to hit 3,000 additional targets inside of Iran if a deal isn't reached. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yangst, Fox News.
Also today, the Egyptian president pleads with President Trump to end the Iran war. The leader addressing the U.S. president directly during the opening ceremony of the 9th edition of the Egypt Energy Show. He says no one but Mr. Trump can end the war in the region and called him a, quote, peace-loving person, asking in the name of humanity that Trump end the war. He says there are grave consequences if this war continues. The conflict has now gone on for over a month. And meanwhile, Spain has closed its airspace to the U.S. planes involved in the Iran war. The defense minister said in part this morning, quote, "We don't authorize either the use of military bases or the use of airspace for actions related to the war in Iran," end quote. Local media reports the closure of the Airspace Force's military planes to bypass the NATO member Spain en route to their targets in the Middle East. But it does not include emergency situations. Last week, Spain denied the United States the use of 2 jointly operated military bases in southern Spain. And in response, President Trump has threatened to cut trade with Madrid. Well, truckers and bus drivers hold a go slow protest in Paris as fuel prices soar due to the Middle East war. Dozens of trucks and coach buses drove slowly, honking their horns today on the Paris ring road, causing major traffic jams. The demonstration comes as fuel costs skyrocket in France due to the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran and the shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz, a critical oil transport waterway. Drivers are demanding more government aid to the transport businesses. Days after it announced it will provide 50 million euros in assistance to the companies for the month of April. And meanwhile, the long security lines at some of the nation's busiest airports should hopefully start subsiding as TSA agents finally resume getting paid today. Fox's Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
What a difference a paycheck can make. After weeks of painfully long security lines, things are running smoother Monday at some of the nation's busiest airports. Tens of thousands of TSA officers are finally seeing checks hit their bank accounts after President Trump authorized emergency funds to pay them during the ongoing Homeland Security shutdown, which lawmakers aren't any closer to ending.
If we didn't get paid during the period of time government was shut down and never got those paychecks back, I'll bet you dollars to donuts shutdowns wouldn't happen.
The Senate tried to fund most of DHS last week, but House Republicans were furious they left out funding for ICE and Border Patrol. They passed their own bill to fund all of DHS for 2 months. But without major reforms to immigration enforcement, there's no way enough Senate Democrats will support it.
We should fund TSA, we should fund FEMA, we should fund the Coast Guard. We are not prepared to give ICE another $10 billion on top of the monies they already have and are using in many of these lawless operations.
Both sides seem locked in, leaving hundreds of thousands of DHS employees stuck in the middle. President Trump wants the Senate to get rid of the filibuster so Republicans can pass funding without Democrat support.
So we need ICE, we need Border Patrol. The last thing you people want to see is our country overrun again by criminals, and that's not going to happen.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he doesn't have the votes to terminate the filibuster, but President Trump says part of being a leader is getting the votes. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
11:10 on your Monday now. Coming up, Shamari Figures is hosting a town hall tonight. We'll tell you when and where straight ahead. Plus, the Mobile Arena is approved for some new equipment. We'll tell you what this means for you and the community after this. But first, Nick, I'm already feeling a catnap on this Monday. How are things there?
It is Monday, so let's talk about it. Your forecast is mostly cloudy with temperatures generally in the 70s. There is this 10% chance of a rain shower here. Unstable Mabel making another appearance. We talked about this cat in the 3 o'clock show. Thank you to Jeanette for submitting this cat photo. If you want to submit your photos for the cat nap forecast, submit them on the Fox 10 weather app. We'll be right back after this. At 11:14, we look down at Pensacola Beach, see some cloud cover, see some waves. We have some rougher surf down at our beaches today. It's going to be something we've got to keep in mind here, but it does look okay to sit on the shore. Remember the high UV index as well. So, rough surf is our main weather headline today, along with the chance for some spotty showers in the afternoon, not just today, but as we go through the week. Also through the week, we're staying quite warm with temperatures near 80 degrees. That top headline, though, rough rip current risk, yeah, it's pretty rough down there. Surf 3 to 5 feet, a high risk of rip currents. We really encourage you to pay attention to those beach flags. It is so important to understand, especially if you are a visitor or if you know somebody that is a visitor, let them know. This is important because rip currents are an extremely dangerous thing, and during spring break season, we often see deaths, and that's not something that we want to see. So again, pay attention to this forecast here: high, medium, high. Those temperatures generally in the 70s. Your water temperatures are in the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees. They are definitely improving, so more people will be wanting to get in the water, so just make sure you're staying safe. UV index forecast, it's not super high because we have some cloud cover, but just remember to put on the sunscreen as well, even with clouds. 6, 5, and 7, so that puts us in the moderate and high category for the UV index. A lot of folks talking about the possibility of rain. It is an exciting prospect for us as we could see some rain showers this week. In Mobile, these numbers are specifically for Mobile. I have it around a 20% chance of rain as we go through the afternoon hours here. I honestly think the higher coverage of rain will be just north of Mobile, and you can see this in our futurecast. This is our graph model. Temperatures here in the 70s, and look what happens in the afternoon, 3 to 5 p.m. You saw a blow up in North Mobile County of rain showers that drifted off to the north. That is a definite possibility today, but most locations will stay dry. Overnight tonight, we go dry. It's very quiet. We do have some fog that could develop through the night. And then tomorrow morning, temperatures in the 60s, a mild one. Then in the afternoon, again, the possibility of maybe a spotty shower with temperatures near 80 degrees. You can see those kept pretty far inland on this run of this model. Then on Wednesday morning, more fog or cloud cover around. Then in the afternoon, we start to clear out and we could see a pop-up rain shower. So we're keeping these rain chances around 20 to 30% through the week. Notice that the numbers aren't high, but they're definitely there, and we'll take it. Towards the end of the week, here's Friday. Friday, the forecast model showing the possibility of a few rain showers. Saturday, it looks like maybe a lesser coverage, at least according to the model now. But you see this band of green approaching our area. This is Sunday evening. So Easter Sunday evening, you're dealing with rain showers possibly. Something to note in the forecast there. And that would be a front that passes through. We need this kind of rain. Drought monitor is not great. We've had worsening drought. We're around 8.5-inch deficit rainfall for the year. So a lot to think about there. Highs today around 80 degrees. That continues over the next few days. 70s at the coast. Here are your forecast highs, and you can see the numbers sitting right around 80. So you can see the numbers again, a warm week ahead. Follow the team on social media for details on your forecast. Just search our names. That 7-day forecast again. Spotty rain showers as we go through the week.
All right, thanks, Nick. We certainly need it. Well, it appears the new Mobile Arena will soon be getting some new equipment it will need for sports and other events. In fact, this is what the arena looks like right now. The arena was topped out earlier this month, marking the completion of vertical construction. A resolution is set to be introduced at tomorrow's Mobile City Council meeting that would authorize the purchase of a basketball floor, storage carts, and transition ramps for the arena. The order is to Robbins Sports Services, and the cost is more than $238,000. We'll keep you updated here. 11:18 now, we have a traffic alert to tell you about this morning. A road closure in Mobile could impact your commute. So Mobile Street between Spring Hill Avenue and University Hospital Drive will be closed starting today. This is to allow Alabama Power Crews to install pole foundations for some service improvements. The street will be closed from 8:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. each day through Thursday. And the detour route will run from Spring Hill Avenue to Stanton Road to University Hospital Drive, so something to make a note of there. And happening today, Representative Shamari Figures is back in the Port City, and he's hosting a town hall meeting. It gets underway at 6 p.m. tonight, and it's being held at the True Vine Missionary Baptist Church. That's located on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue in Mobile. This is your best chance to get an update on what's happening in Washington and how it impacts you and your family. Again, that info on your screen right there. It is 11:19. Thanks for making Fox 10 Midday a part of your Monday. Still to come, did you know home equity line of credit is at a 3-year low? What you should consider before you get that loan in today's Did You Know right after this. Welcome back. If you want to tap into the equity in your home with a home equity line of credit, average interest rates are the lowest they've been in 3 years now. Susan Campbell shows us how much a HELOC will cost you and the things to consider before you get that loan.
The average rate for a $30,000 HELOC is just over 7%. Maybe that still feels a little high, but compared to other options for borrowing, it may be a good option, especially if you are sitting on a ton of equity.
The house doesn't quite work anymore, but you don't want to move.
You have a lot of homeowners sitting on those pandemic-era mortgage rates. So they say, you know what, maybe I'll stay in place and I'll renovate my home or maybe do debt consolidation. And that's what we see a lot of homeowners doing in terms of gravitating to HELOCs.
Bankrate's Linda Bell says the average HELOC rate right now is 7.17%, a 3-year low.
When you compare it to other forms of financing, which people are considering, like credit cards, which could be 20% on average or more, or personal loans, which should be about 12% on average or more, they're certainly more affordable.
And often HELOCs are flexible. You borrow as you need the money up to your loan limit.
Typically, it's a 10-year draw period and a 20-year repayment period.
But there are risks. The rate for a HELOC is typically adjustable, so it could get more expensive. And you have to make sure you can absorb the extra monthly cost.
And you also have to consider that when you take out a HELOC, your home is on the line, right? So if you don't pay it back, you could potentially lose your home.
So run the numbers. Compare offers from several lenders looking at the interest rate, the length of the loan, any upfront costs, annual fees, or other fees.
The other way you can tap into the equity in your home is with a home equity loan. Those are typically fixed interest rates, and right now the average is sitting at 7.85%. I'm Susan Campbell.
11:24 now, straight ahead on Fox 10 Midday. A merger in the restaurant supply business. We have that story and more in your business headlines. Plus, spring cleaning is something many people don't look forward to, myself included. But a new study says spring cleaning can also reset your body. Nick, feeling an awful lot like spring outside today.
Yeah, warm, a little humid out there. Let's take a tour of some of our live cameras, part of the Eastern Shore Toyota camera network, and we'll see what's going on as you're stepping out the door. So D'Iberville, Mississippi, you have temperatures that are in the 70s right now, 76 degrees as we go into the afternoon. There's a look at downtown Mobile from the Admiral. Looks like traffic slowing smoothly, and downtown Mobile also looking good. We have much more on Fox 10 Midday coming up after this.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 Midday.
Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday. It's time for a look at your half-hour headlines on this Monday. First, Air Canada's CEO Michael Rousseau will retire by this fall after nearly 2 decades with the company. The announcement follows Air Canada's jet colliding with a fire truck while landing at New York's LaGuardia Airport last week, ultimately killing the plane's 2 pilots and injuring dozens of people. Rousseau was criticized for delivering a message on the collision, only in English with French subtitles. Air Canada's policy is for its service to be bilingual. And then global airlines have started to raise fares and cut capacity to deal with the sudden surge in oil prices. Before the Iran conflict, the industry was forecasting record profits this year, but now the cost of jet fuel has doubled. Airline analysts say it's a perfect storm because carriers will need to cut fares to stimulate demand, while higher fuel costs mean it's costing more for airlines to operate. And finally, your morning cup of joe could be costing you a little more for the foreseeable future. Coffee sellers say a range of factors, including tariffs, extreme weather, and recently increased fuel and freight costs during the Iran war, like we just saw, are contributing to rising coffee prices as well. Now, last year, President Trump put a 40% tariff on goods from Brazil, which produces more than a third of the world's coffee. Even though he later removed these tariffs in response to coffee prices as well. Now, last year, President Trump put a 40% tariff on goods from Brazil, which produces more than a third of the world's coffee. Even though he later removed these tariffs in response to affordability concerns, many small roasters say the effects are still lingering. And happening in the business world on this Monday, pain at the pump. A merger in the restaurant supply biz, and Easter isn't just for kids anymore. Fox's CJ Papa has today's Fox Business Briefs.
Gas prices are surging as the ongoing conflict with Iran drives up crude oil costs, fueling higher prices at the pump nationwide. The national average now stands at $3.99 per gallon, up $1 from a month ago, according to AAA. Prices are climbing across nearly every region, with some states already well above the national average.
It's rough out here. It's like $100 to fill up my car.
On the West Coast, drivers are seeing the highest cost, with prices reaching $5.87 per gallon in parts of California. The Wall Street Journal says Sysco is buying Restaurant Depot for $29 billion. Sysco is the biggest U.S. food distributor to restaurants, hospitals, and schools. It operates in 10 countries. Restaurant Depot serves businesses across 35 states. And a new trend hopping its way into Easter just in time for this Sunday. A new survey has found that 2/3 of North American adults say they deserve their own Easter basket, just as much as children do. The study was done by renowned chocolate maker Ferrero Rocher, tracking 1,000 adults. Now that's a sweet treat. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Down at the beach, the place to be there. A lot of folks down at Gulf Shores. This is at Sea and Suds. And look at the waves. They're a little rough there. It's kind of hard if you're getting in the water. It's not the most pleasant experience. You're kind of fighting for it just to stay up there. Look at all the people jumping over the waves. So that is what high risk of rip current stay looks like, and you want to be careful getting in the water, and we actually recommend just don't do it if you don't have to. We post about the rip current risk and so much more on social media, so we highly recommend that if you get a chance, do search our names on things like Facebook and give us a follow, because we're posting helpful information like the beach forecast, like the rainfall forecast. Just posted a Futurecast model for today. You can find all of that on our Facebook pages. And also, we encourage you to download the Fox 10 weather app. If you haven't scanned that QR code before to download it, do so. Also, you can search on the App Store or Google Play Store. And we encourage you and beg you, honestly, to submit your pictures and videos on the app. We want to see the weather photos. Even if it's a gloomy day at the beach, we want to see that kind of stuff. It really helps us out. We switched to a slightly newer looking system on the photo submission platform, so don't be afraid of it. Still the same way, gets your photos into us. So go ahead and fill out those forms and submit the photos on the Fox 10 weather app and videos as well. We greatly appreciate when we get those sent in, and we would like some more because the submissions have been a little lighter recently. So right now from Eastern Shore Toyota Camera Network, you can see it's pretty much mostly cloudy across the entire area. 74 in D'Iberville, 73 Mobile, and in Orange Beach. This afternoon, you're going to see temperatures in the low 80s. Tomorrow afternoon is going to be a similar one. We're going to have temperatures in the 80s here, 84 degrees Chatham, 83 Calvert, 82 in Atmore, 81 in Mobile. Again, this is looking ahead to tomorrow, which is probably going to be a few degrees warmer than today. This will continue today and tomorrow at the beach. You can see mostly cloudy, rough surf. Rip current risk is high, 3 to 5 feet. Here's your reminder with those beach flags. Red flags indicating high surf. It does not mean that the water is closed. Double red flags means water's closed. And that's our top headline there. Also, spotty showers possible in the afternoon. We'll take a look at modeling here. Also staying warm through the forecast. Here's modeling into this afternoon. You can see at 3 o'clock, maybe one small shower tries to pop up there. Another small shower around 5 o'clock. There's nothing else anywhere else. So very, very few and far between with your rain showers, and mostly north of Interstate 10. Then tomorrow morning, I am expecting some kind of fog to develop. Be prepared for that. But it has been a breezier forecast for us, and that kind of fights with the fog a little bit. You have southeast winds that continue. That is pushing in moisture. The Muggy meter shows us that we are steadily in a somewhat humid category as we go through the week. So we're going to keep scattered rain around in the afternoons. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. The likelihood of some scattered rain showers. I think Saturday forecast is less for the rain coverage. You can see the model isn't as aggressive, but look what happens on Sunday. We have this band of green that comes in. That is a front, and along this front, maybe Sunday evening, Easter Sunday, we could get a decent batch of rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. We'll be here tracking that for you just in case. Here we go through the week. Temperatures staying near 80 degrees. Good Friday, decent shot at seeing some scattered showers. Then head to the weekend, keeping an eye on Easter Sunday.
All right, thanks, Nick. And by the way, you can get much more in-depth forecasts on the Fox 10 Gulfstream app. And that's not all. You can watch Fox 10 News live at any time and get access to all of our other content like Unwritten Legends, In Depth with Sarah Wall, podcasts, the latest We the People segments, and so much more. You can download the app for free on your smart TV or with Roku, Fire TV, and more as well. There's also a link on our website, fox10tv.com. Well, it was a big day on the Gulf Coast as the 10th annual Downtown Cajun Kickoff took place in downtown Mobile. Here's a look back. It's a celebration with a distinctly Cajun flavor, with local teams like Fox 10 preparing tasty dishes and competing for best entry. Since its start, the event has become very popular down there, and it benefits the Child Advocacy Center, and the presenting sponsor was Cunningham Bounds. Executive Director Andy Wynn told us a little more about the center's mission.
Our mission is to be the community response to child abuse in Mobile. And our agencies depend on us to help them coordinate. We have 7 or 8 different agencies that all come together to take care of abused kids. 75% of our budget is from things like this. So we are heavily dependent on that. And I mean, it ranges from everything from therapy to building for all the people to meet to training so they learn better and better techniques to take care of abused children and investigate them and prosecute those who abuse them.
Yeah, just an incredible turnout this year. If you did miss the Cajun Cook-Off, but you want to donate or help to the center, you can head over to their website, cacmobile.org. And a huge congrats to Bob's Downtown Diner, who came in first in voting. I was out there as well on Saturday, and it was a joy to meet so many of you on that beautiful day. Well, listen to this. Some Amtrak passengers from New Orleans getting a unique tour of historic Africatown. It was all part of the Africatown Freedom Tours, and the bus was waiting on passengers as they came off of the Amtrak train from New Orleans. Riders visited a locally owned restaurant in Mobile and then the Heritage House in Africatown. The Heritage House exhibit is a multi-sensory space featuring compelling stories and images of how Africatown came to be. It also features the story of the Clotilda, the last known slave ship illegally brought to Mobile, carrying 110 men, women, and children from West Africa. Organizers say the goal is to connect New Orleans and Mobile through this shared history. Two people from New Orleans we spoke with say it's an extremely educational tour.
The tour guide found her online, and we wanted to have a day out of New Orleans and Louisiana, come over here and have lunch. And we discovered this young lady who has taken us so graciously around the city.
Our history has been hidden so long, so it's very important for us to know this history.
The tours, if you're interested, check out the Africatown Freedom Tours Facebook page. It's an annual tradition that you may or may not look forward to. Spring cleaning is a way to refresh your space, remove dust, and get things tidy and organized. But experts say it can also give your mental health a boost as well. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains how a spring spruce up can also help declutter your brain.
So long, winter. Spring has sprung. But if breaking out the vacuum for a new season refresh doesn't sound tempting, there's another reason to do it. It's good for your brain.
Instead of labeling cleaning as a chore, reframe it as an act of self-care.
Clinical psychologist Susan Alberts with Cleveland Clinic says having a tidy space can actually boost a person's mood. She says it's been shown to improve sleep, concentration, and energy levels while decreasing stress and anxiety.
Cleaning provides immediate, visible, and tangible results, which our brain loves. It likes to see evidence of success. This in turn releases dopamine into the body, the pleasure neurotransmitter.
But if your motivation is lacking, Albert says to start small. Try tidying your desk, which could also include digital decluttering, closing out emails, cleaning off your computer's home screen, and avoiding distractions by muting alerts until you're done. If you feel your cleaning momentum begin to shift, Albert says to move on to your bedroom.
Just cleaning your bedroom and making your bed has been shown in studies to improve your sleep by 19%.
Then she says to focus on high traffic areas, the most used spaces in your home.
This is going to help to reduce the stress and conflict in the family. When these high traffic areas are filled with clutter, they create stress for everyone.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Albers says research also suggests just 15 minutes of cleaning can improve your mood as well by more than 50%. And she says this investment in your time and your mood can be a game changer this spring. Well, meanwhile, a new study suggests people who have heart attacks might not need beta blockers for the rest of their lives. It looked at those who were stable for a year and then went off the drugs. The researchers say they had no higher risk of death, another heart attack, or hospitalization for heart failure. The study contains data from about 2,500 adults over a 3-year period, and it's now out in the New England Journal of Medicine today. 11:41 now, straight ahead. Do you know what a Midwest goodbye is? I could tell you about that for sure. Plus, Krispy Kreme is celebrating the latest space mission. Nick and I will have your Midday Talkers next. Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday. Krispy Kreme wants space fans to send their taste buds into orbit by offering a new donut dedicated to an upcoming moon mission.
Krispy Kreme always knows what's going on,
sure.
so it's celebrating the Artemis II launch to the moon with its own NASA-inspired donut. That looks awesome.
Look at that. That thing is loaded. The Artemis II donut has blue vanilla flavored icing, Oreo toppings, and a cookies and cream dollop right on top, topped with a red chevron nod to the NASA logo.
This is insane.
This is crazy. Out of this world, literally.
That looks like that's incredible. So this special donut is available tomorrow through Thursday at participating Krispy Kreme locations.
And you can also get it as part of the Artemis II specialty dozen, featuring 6 Artemis II donuts and 6 original glazed donuts.
NASA is aiming to launch Artemis II, which will be a crewed test flight to the moon on Wednesday.
Some good marketing right here by Krispy Kreme. That looks phenomenal. Can you imagine eating that though?
I would be.
Nick, you would be down for the count.
Yes.
I feel like I would take one bite, and it's kind of like for me crumble cookie. One bite and I'm good.
It literally looks like it.
Yeah, you have to eat it slowly and gradually for sure. Looks pretty good. We might have to try it on Tasty Tuesday. We'll see. Well, if you haven't heard of the Midwest Goodbye, you are not alone.
So the old phrase that originated in the country's heartland has been gaining in popularity.
I'm from the Midwest. Let me tell you what it means. It refers to people taking a long time to leave social gatherings as they take part in several rounds of goodbyes, just chatting, lingering, hugging, and of course, accepting leftovers. That's the big one before they finally leave.
The phrase centers on how long it takes for guests to finally make their way to the door.
And it's in stark contrast to the Irish goodbye, which refers to visitors making a quick unannounced departure during an event. So, like I said, I'm from Missouri. I grew up in the Midwest. I can certainly attest to this. This is very real. I have vivid memories as a kid waiting for hours for my parents to leave. They would say, kids, 5-minute warning. It was more like the 5-hour warning. Because it took them a while to get out the door.
Now,
Do you have questions about this?
Do I have questions? I can see this in the South. I guess it's maybe a little different, but there is still, like, you'll be going and be like talking to people for a while.
For sure.
We had a conference this weekend.
Yeah.
And like all of us, it took us 3 hours to clear out that conference because we're all talking.
You're still
and talking.
I feel like the Midwest goodbye happens here too. There's so much overlap in the Midwest and Southern culture as well. But yeah, lots of fun stuff there. Hannah's from the Midwest as well, so she could talk about that. A Chicago suburb is considering whether Michael Jordan's former home should be allowed to be turned into a museum. Commercial real estate developer John Cooper bought the nearly 38,000 square foot mansion for $9.5 million. That's after it sat on the market for a dozen years. Now he wants to turn it into a museum that he says will inspire people to consider what it means to be a great person. He's avoiding invoking the name of NBA star Michael Jordan to avoid violating any trademarks. But Cooper is promising to provide off-site parking and use shuttles to bring visitors to the home. Several neighbors, though, have objected, saying museums should not be allowed in residentially zoned areas. The Highland Park City Council will discuss the plan today. Kind of a cool proposal here, Nick. What do you think? Oh, well, let's talk about the Gulf Stream. He was getting things set up for you guys over there. All right, take it away.
So let's talk about this. You know what? I could sit here and watch this back. So I'm actually have on our Roku app, as you see the Roku remote here, on the Fox 10 Gulfstream. I just wanted to show you some of the things you're able to do. So this is our newscast. This was us just talking a few seconds ago about the Midwest Goodbye. This is the home screen of the app. So you go to your Roku here. Here it is all loaded. Fox 10 Gulfstream. Have it downloaded before download it. Boom, there you are. I do want to talk about the weather section of this app though. So of course, if you go down here, you can see your forecast now. Here's the weather tab. The latest weather forecast is available always in full on the Fox 10 Gulfstream. So at any point, if you on your Roku TV just wanted to watch the forecast when you got up in the morning, you can do that by heading to the weather forecast section here on the Fox 10 Gulfstream app. Now let's talk about next weather. Next weather is our in-depth, deep deep dive segment that we do every weekday on different things going on. It'll get posted soon here, but you're going to notice that Hannah has one that she just did that is on rip currents, and that's another great thing. And look at the amount of stuff, and this is all stuff that you can still watch because we try to make it to where it has a good amount of shelf life. All of this stuff you can watch on different aspects of our local forecast, and this is available kind of like a kind of a Netflix thing here on our Fox 10 Gulfstream app. So check out the Gulfstream app, download it if you have not already. It is a very useful tool. We'll be right back after this with a final look at our forecast.
Welcome back. Mind-blowing video shows the skies turn an eerie and ominous shade of red as an Australian community braced for an incoming cyclone. And all of this was caught on camera. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Incredible video captured in Australia went viral after it showed the skies and pretty much everything else turn an ominous shade of blood red as an intense weather system was closing in. Tropical cyclone Narelle stirred up dust storms that painted the skies of the towns Carnarvon and Shark Bay bright red, as seen by the surreal video shared by Shark Bay Caravan Park. 7 News reports power outages, inland flooding, and damaged structures were reported after the storm hit, but the Caravan Park said they were spared the brunt of it and later posted a clear-skied video saying, "What a difference 48 hours makes." Another Down Under story update, but this one from the upper Midwest of the U.S. A diaper-wearing pet kangaroo that got loose and went missing in Wisconsin has been located and is back home safe and sound. WKBT reports Chesney, the denim diaper sporting marsupial, got loose from his enclosure at Sunshine Farm in Necedah after he reportedly got spooked by some barking dogs. The public was notified to keep an eye out, but not to approach Chesney, and after a collab with a local aerial drone search team turned up the roo on the run, the Juneau County Sheriff's Office said he was safely collected and returned to his owners. The Sheriff's Office also posted a funny update saying social media algorithms have now turned the department's feeds into nothing but adorable kangaroo news. Finally, a surreal sight illuminated at night as officials in China shared a look at the newly unveiled world's longest outdoor escalator in Chongqing. The staggering structure is comprised of 21 combined escalators that span nearly 3,000 feet in length and climb the height of an 80-story building. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Did you know one of my biggest fears is an escalator? I just do not like them. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. I think I remember as a kid, like someone's shoelace got stuck in it, and my parents always told me that story, and they're like, you have to be really careful because the escalator is gonna suck you right up. So, yeah, I will always take the stairs, and plus you get your steps in that way. So I will not be visiting those handy dandy escalators.
Well, you know what I do? I run up the escalator.
I bet you do. You know what? I bet you do.
You
that
know
does
what?
not
You
surprise
save
me.
double time.
He's all about the efficiency here.
Yes.
We know this.
All right, let's talk about the forecast here. We have a few things to mention. First of all, live cameras. You can see a lot of waves down at the beach. I've been noticing a few people down at the beach in the water. Just got to be very careful if you're down there. We do have a high risk of rip currents. Temperatures this afternoon around 80 degrees, middle 70s down at the coast. Here are our weather headlines. Rough surf, spotty showers, and staying warm. Staying warm through the entire week, and the chance of spotty showers continues through the week as well. Wind forecast out of the southeast, and a decent clip around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So it's something that is noticeable and, of course, is churning up the surf. Again, there's that high risk of rip currents today. Medium tomorrow, high on Wednesday, 3 to 4 feet. Today's surface 3 to 5 feet, so it is a little rougher there. Let's talk afternoon and rain chances. See maybe 1 or 2 showers pop up north of Interstate 10, North Mobile County, North Baldwin County, Escambia County, Alabama, kind of that region, north central portion of the Fox 10 viewing area there with the possibility of some rain showers. That is the only chance today, so most places stay dry. Here's a 7-day forecast, keeping the rain chances around 20 to 30%. Through Good Friday and Saturday as well. And then Easter Sunday, it looks like our next front comes in. Okay. So we'll have a more substantial.
Sounds good. And we will take any moisture we can get. At this point, we want to thank you for watching Fox 10 Midday on this Monday. Be sure to stay with us here for Fox 10 Live at 3 p.m. We'll see you then.